Last night when I saw the President hold up the Bible, I was thinking of so many things in the Bible that would have been appropriate in terms of the humanity of all people in our country. And I was thinking about time. You know, time is such a most important commodity. The most important commodity, the most finite of all commodities. The time it takes to make the change necessary. And it's long overdue time for us to make some of that change that people were calling out for. And I was thinking of the book of Ecclesiastes, and in it they talk about there's an appointed time for everything, Ecclesiastes says in 3:1-8. The time for every event under heaven. He talks about a time to heal. He talks about a time to embrace and a time to shun embracing. How about that for today? A time for peace. Let's focus on the time to heal. A time to heal. We have had, as a role of President of the United States, role of Commander-in-Chief, President of the United States, a person who has a responsibility to heal. President George Herbert Walker Bush spoke out under circumstances similar to now when he said this was after the Rodney King beating. President George Herbert Walker Bush said the following: "Those terrible scenes stir us all to demand an end to gratuitous violence and brutality. Law enforcement officials cannot place themselves above the law that they are sworn to defend. It was sickening to see the beating that was rendered, and there's no way in my view, to explain that away. It was outrageous." George Herbert Walker Bush after the Rodney King beating. President Obama said after the murder of Eric Garner, "Right now, unfortunately, we are seeing too many instances where people just do not have confidence that folks are being treated fairly. In some cases, there may be misperceptions, but in some cases, that's a reality. And it is incumbent upon all of us as Americans, regardless of race, religion, region, faith, that we recognize this is an American problem and not just a black problem or a brown problem or a Native American problem. This is an American problem when anybody in this country is not being treated equally under the law. That is a problem." I do want to quote my colleague, Mr. Clyburn, distinguished with Democratic Whip of the House. He said this: "Firebombing police cars, burning down businesses, and ravaging our neighborhoods dishonors the lives of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, and will destroy thousands of livelihoods." So this is not without concern about what peaceful protests can sometimes lead to by those who would exploit the situation. But it is about how we treat people. And again, across our country, as President Obama said the other day, many law enforcement people take pride in what they do and would not identify with the actions that were taken against George Floyd. But in fact, it did happen. And it happened in broad daylight. It happened for all the world to see. A knee to the neck, not only by the perpetrator of that murder, but by 3 officers observing it. So it's time. It's a time for us to address, and that's why the concerns that were being expressed by the protesters. This is not an incident, a single incident. We know it is a pattern of behavior. We also know the history that takes us to this sad place. And that's why I'm so proud of the work of the Congressional Black Caucus. We call that the conscience of the Congress. The important work they're doing, have been doing over time, and now are ready when we come forward with legislation, whether it's to end racial profiling or some of the other, a number of pieces of legislation, police brutality being part of that, but racial profiling being such a universal affliction that we must be rid of. So they will be making their recommendations. They will be having their town halls, their hearings. Of course, it is the responsibility of all of us to take the time to heal, but we are looking to them for their values-based, sad experience and their leadership in terms of legislation. Congresswoman, Madam Chair, Karen Bass of California has been very measured and deeply concerned about all of this, working with our members. We have many legislative proposals. I look to them to prioritize, to curate them. We have some of us who want, some of the members want to have a comprehensive bill, others more individual approach. In a matter of just a short period of time, those decisions will be made, and I think the American people will be well served. But we would hope that the President of the United States would follow the lead of so many other presidents before him to be a healer-in-chief and not a fanner of the flame. Yesterday we saw a most unfortunate situation where before the curfew, the time of the curfew occurred, peaceful demonstrators in front of protesters in front of the White House were beaten. Some people came out and beat them so they could clear the area so the president could come out and go forward. What is that? That has no place. And it's time for us to do away with that. A time to heal, the book of Ecclesiastes. Thank you all very much.